So I'm sure by now you have seen a lot of FPL teams made by humans. But the question is, what is the best possible FPL team for the new season according to machine learning? Welcome to FPL Mate, my name is Dan. Today we are going to answer that question by using an artificial intelligence designed specifically to dominate FPL. Which are the players we should be picking ahead of the new deadline? Which players will create that perfect 100% team rating team for us to maybe get some inspiration from? I want you guys to look at this team. I want you guys to tell me, do you agree with these picks? Do you think that AI is onto something? Do you think that maybe they've missed the mark on some of these players? Super curious to get your opinions on whether you think this team could thrive or not. Of course, guys, it should be said that top FPL managers have been using these machine learning tools for a few years now, and some of them are dominating FPL. The FPL champion from not last season, but the season before, use this kind of thing to literally win FPL. So it is possible if you do it the right way. So let me know what you think about this team. Let's start off in goal, of course, guys, and we are going to see Verbruggen in this team. Not a player I have seen a lot of in a lot of people's drafts. Maybe one of the rarer 4.5 million goalkeepers indeed, but he's got pretty nice fixtures in some games and maybe some rougher fixtures in other areas. And the AI has actually chosen to roll with two 4.5 goalkeepers. We're going to see the other one on the bench in a moment's time. But in goal, first of all, Verbruggen, you're going to play him against Fulham at home. You've got that Everton fixture in game week 2 where there's some potential to play him in that game as well. But I think because Brighton are genuinely not such a bad defence, maybe Verbruggen can thrive in some of those easier fixtures. There's just not a huge amount of them. So that rotation is going to be super key. That's what the AI likes, spending as little as possible on two rotating goalkeepers. Now, guys, this video was made in collaboration with Fantasy Football Hub and their amazing My Team tool. And if you want to get your team rating right now, you can do so for free using the link in the description. Can you get close to 100%? Believe me, it is very, very tough. We've tried it. We've experimented. We've made a team today. But, guys, honestly, it is hard to get your team to that level. But I'm curious to see, what is your team rating? Can you get above 90%? Can you get close to 100%? That would be amazing if you can. So feel free to check that out. And that is completely for free, by the way, guys. But if you are a serious FPL manager, please do join as a member of Fantasy Football Hub to get the best companion tool set on the market. You get instant transfer suggestions tailored to your team through their My Team tool. You get predicted points for all players in the entire Premier League. We get that Opta data from the last 7 Premier League seasons, which will update every day with the new season's data as well. You're going to get expert team reveals every game week, including team reveals from the last 2 champions of FPL and much, much more. If you join Fantasy Football Hub during preseason, you also get a limited deal. If you are a Hub subscriber and you don't win your mini league this season, they will refund your entire subscription for the year. That is how confident they are that they can make a champion of you. This is a company I have been working with for 5 years now because I love them and I trust them. And I also think they provide the best product on the market if you are a serious FPL player. I would be lost without them, and I don't want you guys to be lost too. Purchasing a Fantasy Football Hub subscription directly through the link in the video description is also a great way to support FPL Mate and allows me to spend more on producing better content for you. So everyone wins, and if somehow you don't win, you get your money back anyway. So it's an absolute no-brainer, guys. Link in the description if you are interested in anything I just spoke about. But back to this team, guys, because we're going to go into the defense next, starting off with Marc Cucurella. And this seems to be the AI's 6 million defender of choice, primarily because Chelsea do have very nice fixtures here. Crystal Palace, West Ham and Fulham in the opening 3 games. We can see some pretty high predicted points here across these first 3 games. Of course, we know Cucurella also has that nice bit of attacking threat there as well on that left hand side, charging up the pitch, more often goals than assists too, breaking into the box. Our next defender is going to be Milenkovic at 5.5 million. Obviously, he was a very high scoring defender last season, where Cucurella maybe wasn't the top scoring 6 million defender last season. He's predicted well. Maybe Milenkovic is a bit more predictable to see in a team like this. They've got some really nice fixtures at Nottingham Forest. Brentford at home, opening game of the season. Obviously, Brentford maybe lacking a bit of firepower up front at the moment, which could play into Milenkovic's hands. And we got some decent fixtures after that, including some newly promoted teams in game week 5 and 6. It's just game week 4 with that game against Arsenal that Forest maybe struggled. But again, this team has thought about that. The AI has considered this, and we do have a nice bench option to cover us for that game week. We also see Romero in this team, and this was probably the biggest surprise of the team so far for me, and possibly one of the biggest surprises in the entire team. But I want to talk you through this one anyway. Yes, Christian Romero, 5.2 predicted points against Burnley. It's a really, really nice fixture. After that, the fixtures are a little more mixed, but we do know that Spurs are like Chelsea, are like teams like Forest and maybe Everton too. These are all teams with really nice fixtures. So you can see a trend here where the AI has chosen really focused the effort on picking the players or the defenders with good fixtures here, and that's kind of reflected by the kind of picks we're seeing. So Cucurella, Milenkovic, Romero, all really nice fixtures, and in the instances where they don't, in those tougher game weeks, there is bench cover to come in and take the place of these players in those slightly rougher game weeks. So Romero, he scored a surprising amount of goals over the last year or so for Spurs. So, yeah, maybe he can come back in as a 5 million player playing for a more pragmatic Thomas Frank system and actually surprise a few people. I'll have to wait and see what happens there. But it's an interesting pick. Again, one I'm not seeing too much of, but I actually don't hate it. Let's move on into midfield anyway. Salah is obviously going to be in this team. Very high predicted points for him. 7.8 at home against Bournemouth, 6.9 against Newcastle away, and even 7.3 at home against Arsenal. We know that Salah is a big game player, so he is capable of delivering the results even in the slightly tougher games. But the AI, in all of its infinite knowledge, has identified that game week 2 as a potential problem area where maybe we can do a little bit better for a captain. Can we find a better captain in game week 2 for our team? And it has come up with Saka as the solution to that. So even though Saka away against Man United, away against Liverpool in game weeks 1 and 3, that game week 2 home against Leeds gives us a 7.8 predicted point score there against a newly promoted team. So that is really nice. That is really high indeed. So you can see why this player has been included in this draft, but to try and cover the holes, to cover the gaps. And this is what the AI is thinking about when it's trying to build that team. But the Arsenal love doesn't stop there, because Declan Rice is going to be the next player. And I've seen a lot of people quite interested in Declan Rice as a 6.5 million midfielder. Obviously, he is a set piece taker for Arsenal, having a decent share of corners on, well, he takes all of the corners on one side. He's going to take all of those free kicks. And given that he is going to be playing as like a left-sided 8 primarily, with Zubimendi a little bit deeper, he is going to have more opportunity to charge up the field. I'm not totally convinced on the defensive contributions that Rice will be able to provide this season, but there will be a few games throughout the year where he does get those 2 extra points for defensive contributions too. I don't think it's going to happen every game, but hey, it could happen here and there. But our next player is going to be Minter, 6 million. And again, you don't see too many 6 million players in FPL drafts. I think a lot of people are going either 6.5 million midfielders or 5.5 million. Not too much at 6. But another Brighton player is a little bit of a surprise to me in this team. But here we are. I do think Brighton do have some tough fixtures, but Minter has proven that he is a midfielder with some very, very good underlying data. The key really is going to be his minutes. With Joao Pedro leaving the club, could that mean that, you know, by a knock-on effect, that Minter can get more minutes on that right-hand side of midfield? We know when he's on the pitch, he is brilliant. He puts up some of the best data of any midfielder in the Premier League, aside from, you know, the mega stars of the Premier League. So really, really nice pick there. Again, it's just the fixtures that maybe concern me, the minutes that kind of concern me there. But the outlook is good, according to the AI, and it has considered these things. It has considered minutes and what have you. And now we can move into the forward position. First of all, Victor Gyökeres. No, guys, the AI waits for no one. It takes no prisoners. Victor Gyökeres straight in the team, which came as a bit of a surprise to me, because how has it analysed the expectations of Gyökeres already? But it has taken all of the data we've seen from Gyökeres in previous seasons in different leagues and adjusted it from the Premier League to give us a expectation of what we might have in the new season. And the expectation is that even though Gyökeres may struggle a little bit against the likes of Man United and Liverpool, that Leeds at home fixture is a really nice fixture for him. And I actually tend to agree. I'm a little bit worried about Gyökeres against Man United. I think Havertz could get some minutes against Liverpool, maybe Gyökeres with an early substitution or something like that, just to try and control the game against Liverpool a little bit more. But against Leeds, who will probably set out to defend in that game, and you need that physical presence, I think that's a perfect game for Gyökeres, and I would even consider Gyökeres a captain option for that game week. And the AI is saying, yes, we love Gyökeres. We love Gyökeres for game week 2. And maybe that's a big reason why he has been included in this team. His scores outside that are maybe a little more average, but at 9 million, we can't expect 14.5 million predicted points like we see with Salah. We've got some more forwards here, guys. We've got Chris Wood. He is maybe a player going slightly under the radar in the preseason. Maybe people not expecting the same things from last season as we might see in the new season. But here he is right here in the team for everyone to see. And he has got a fixture against Brentford in game week 1. We've got Crystal Palace and West Ham in game week 2 and 3. We mentioned Forest have those nice fixtures, and Wood is the penalty taker at Forest, and obviously showed some brilliant form throughout last season, scored a lot of goals, and the artificial intelligence is suggesting that that is going to continue. Now, we'll have to see if there is a Chris Wood drop-off, a drop Wood, but if not, then, you know, he could be a pretty decent pick. And the final forward in this team is actually going to be Wissa, which is an interesting one because Wissa is currently maybe unsettled at Brentford. Now, obviously, we know he's a fantastic player, fantastic goal scorer who's done really well in the last couple of years for Brentford, taking up that number 9 position for the team. But if he is to, you know, settle down, he is going to be a fantastic pick. But this is maybe some of the flaws we see with AI and why we use AI as, you know, something that can help us, but maybe not just give us the answers, because the human element of Wissa and him being unsettled at Brentford may actually contradict his amazing data, his amazing, well, some of his amazing fixtures. There are some good fixtures in there for Brentford. So it's a mixed bag here. And I would say if I'm disagreeing with anyone in the starting 11, this is probably the one that I am not super keen on right now. But if he moves to Newcastle, or, you know, if he settles down and, you know, accepts his fate at Brentford, then he can be a really, really nice pick there. We know how good he is as a player. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. But for me, it's a wait and see. It's not someone I'd like to lock into my FPL team quite yet, guys. Not quite yet. Anyway, before we move on to the bench, guys, if you are enjoying this video, please do make sure you drop a like. It is massively appreciated and really does help out the channel a whole bunch. So thank you for all of you guys who like every video. You guys are absolute legends. And if you want to follow along with some more FPL videos to help you out throughout the preseason, do feel free to subscribe as well. I'll be happy to, you know, continue to help you where I can. So let's look at this bench, guys. We've got Petrovic. I did promise you there was another 4.5 million goalkeeper, and here he is in all his glories. And obviously, you're not going to play him in game week 1. That game against Liverpool yields a 3.2 predicted points for Petrovic, which is pretty low, actually, even for a goalkeeper. So you're definitely, if you're going for Petrovic, you're probably going to want to have some cover for game week 1, and that's where Verbruggen comes in. But actually, after that, it looks like Petrovic has some, you know, fixtures which are more favoured. Now, we're seeing a lot of people combining Petrovic and Kelleher, myself included, but you could go for a Petrovic and Verbruggen combination instead if you have maybe less faith in Brentford at the moment. Maybe Petrovic and Verbruggen is the way to go instead. It's definitely an option, and it's definitely something to consider, which is why, you know, looking at these kind of AI teams, it's super useful to me because it gives me other ideas. It shows me an alternative option that maybe I haven't thought about and shows me how it could work, which is really nice. We've got Goalkeeper on the bench here as well. 5 million midfielder, so super cheap bench backup player. Not too much going on in the 4.5 million forward forward or midfielder category at the moment. So a 5 million midfielder could be pretty useful there for us, just as a backup if things go wrong. Goalkeeper is going to be nailed on for Brighton and should get plenty of defensive contribution points, but maybe not necessarily a player you'd want to start. Just there kind of as backup brigade, which is kind of useful to have. Chris Richards is in this team. Hey, guys, how much have I spoken about Chris Richards recently? He's mentioned probably at least once in every one of my videos. Like, this is the Chris Richards fan club over here at the FPL Mate channel. And yeah, even the AI agrees that this is a serious bargain at 4.5 million. Now, there is some tough fixtures there. Chelsea away, Aston Villa away in the opening 3, but we've got that Nottingham Forest at home in game week 2, which is actually a pretty decent fixture for a defender. So he's going to come in and cover Romero really nicely in game week 2, and he's also going to cover Milenkovic really nicely in game week 4, where Milenkovic plays against Arsenal. So you have that defensive cover, that bench rotation that you are going to be able to execute. With Cucurella, you're going to pretty much play him every game week, because even when the fixture is maybe a little tougher, you're still going to have that goal threat that Cucurella has each and every week. But Richards, Milenkovic, potentially even Romero under a Thomas Frank system, these are all players that can definitely provide defensive contribution points, alongside Baleba, who is also a beast for defensive contribution points. And these are really the key players in this squad that do provide those kind of points. We've also got Sealt here from Sunderland, 4 million defender, expected to play every game. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Sunderland fans, but he is a main starter, which is why he is in this team. Now, again, the AI has chosen a player who has very good fixtures in that defensive position. And that seems, again, to be a bit of a theme. You know, for defenders, we want players with good fixtures, and we want to only play them when they have good fixtures. Now, for Sealt, I don't think he is going to be playing very often in this team, but it gives you that option. You know, we've got West Ham, Burnley, Brentford in the opening 3. That's not the worst backup in the world, to be fair. So it's not too bad. I don't think you will need to play him. But, you know, if you have an emergency, a red card, an injury, something like that, maybe you're unable to play Richards, or Richards has a really tough fixture, maybe at that point you go to the Sunderland defender to try and cover you there. Now, of course, guys, the captain for game week 1 is going to be Salah, with the vice captain on Saka. But the idea is to switch that captain's armband over to Saka in game week 2 with a slightly more favourable fixture there. So that is the team created by the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool, artificial intelligence, and I like it generally. I don't think there's anything that really stands out to me as being wrong here, but maybe there are some areas of concern. I'm a little bit worried about Wissa right now. We'll see what happens closer to the deadline. Some of these other players, I'm maybe not super keen on. Like, Wood is not at the top of my list, Rice is not at the top of my list, or anything like that. But they're definitely interesting options, and you know, they are rated very highly when we pull in all of that data and we try and extrapolate who's going to get the points. What are the fixtures saying? What's the data from last season saying? What is the form of the player like at the back end of last season? We pull all this data, we try and make some predictions. Well, I don't. A very clever computer does all of those things, and this is what the result is. So the perfect game week 1 team according to artificial intelligence. But do you agree? Does this look good to you? Let me know in the comments. And of course, guys, make sure you are getting your team rating using the link in the description. Let me know what your rating is as well. How close are you to 100%? And of course, massive shout out to all of you guys who are signing up to Fantasy Football Hub for the new season as well, because it helps support the channel. And believe me, when you get on there, when you're using those tools each and every game week, you are not going to regret it. It makes your FPL life so much easier, so much more simple. I absolutely love it. We mentioned everything, all the benefits before. You guys are going to love it too. But thank you so much for watching today's video. Feel free to check out another one if you would like to. But until next time, I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.